We just saw the conclusion of round 2. There are certain points that are confusing, certain questions that have been left unanswered. Round 3, rapid fire, will be a last and final chance that both the teams will receive to prove their points. The last and final chance that they will get to determine whether they would be allowed to proceed further in the debate. Now we're ready to give both the proposition and the opposition their last and final lifeline, a chance to consult their coaches. Let's move into a very short commercial break till the proposition and the opposition consult their coaches. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to move into one of the most intense rounds of the debater, one of your favorites, rapid fire. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be the last and final chance that you will be able to see some of these debaters on the debater stage. Good luck to both the proposition and the opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have absolutely confused opposition here because they have absolutely misunderstood the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a much broader picture to the fact. We're not talking about the human rights of athletes. We're talking about the human rights of people where human rights are being violated. For example, like in Zimbabwe and Syria. The fact of the matter remains that the comparison is between a grade 8 CV book to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Thank you.
According to the proposition team, they said the Afghanistan came out from, the Russian army came out of Afghanistan, but that's not correct. The statement of Trace Stockwell, she says, what really hits home to me about the boycott? Didn't the army pull out of Afghanistan for 9 years? That means the boycott didn't show any effect on the invasion, but the army still remained in Afghanistan for 9 years after the boycott also. So there is no effect of boycott.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stated in my speech earlier that just when the Olympics are boycotted, Syria is not going to stop its war. You see, it's the impact that it creates. That's what we have been trying to tell the opposition over here for all this time, and they're still not understood. You see, we have been trying to tell them that when you boycott the Olympics, the issue is not going to just disappear, but the impact that it creates in the world would, in the end, help it. And whether it took 9 years or 10 for the Russian army to leave Afghanistan, it has left. And the impact created by the Olympics being boycotted would have helped. Thank you.
Speaking about the impact, doesn't it cause a negative impact between the boycotting nation and the hosting nation? Won't it create a problem?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is not about politics. It is not about a fight between the host nation and the nation that boycotts. It is about upholding the basic human rights of people. It is about upholding the right to live of innocent civilians in countries such as Syria and other countries. So it is not about politics. It is not about ties, and it is not about grudges between countries. It is about the rights of the people, the right to live, the right to perhaps even not get raped by other people. Thank you.
An Olympic is a place to represent the skill, not to represent the problem.
Madam, you must realize that there is a clear debate between the right of athlete to take part in Olympics and the right of life. We need to understand that the right of life is a much higher priority than these athletes to take part in the Olympics. Because we realize that in Syria, within 15 months, 15,000 people have died. That compared to a single person competing in Olympics. Ladies and gentlemen, we must also realize that sportsmen are people who have value and dignity. And because of that reason, they will stand up to respect the value and dignity of fellow human beings.
Why can't you go in and participate in Olympics, win an Olympic medal, and then talk to the community about your problems to publicize the issue?
Honorable panel, we have seen contradiction, and then we have seen unfair argument brought up by the opposition team. You see, we have stated that the UN has failed, and then we have brought a solution saying that we could boycott the Olympics. Now they're saying, no, don't bring the Olympics into it, and don't bring the UN into it. They're just saying that we should not do what we should do. but they're not giving a solution to it. And also the contradiction is that they stated that you don't have to boycott the Olympics, but you can tell the women and children in Syria to come and talk to the Olympic Committee. Isn't this something, it's contradiction, because you are still anyway dragging the Olympics into human rights concerns. So it's massive contradiction in their speech. Thank you.
There are human rights problems in each and every nation. So boycotting Olympics for the reason of human rights concern is not good. And we'll think about Sri Lanka. It had some problem. So did we boycott Olympics for the purpose of solving the problem in Sri Lanka?
Ladies and gentlemen, true enough, there is human rights concerns in every country, but some are greater than others. For instance, I would say that more than 16,000 people being massacred by their own government in Syria would be a bit more emphatical, would be a bigger concern than the death of than some minor human rights concerns in a different country. There are priorities. There are moments when we should do this. Thank you.
We can still address the concern to the IOC or to the hosting country. Why we need to boycott the Olympics?
Through boycotting Olympic Games, nothing is going to be solved. Just depriving the rights of an athlete just to bring out awareness in the world community, I don't think it's justifiable. Why can't you be world famous through winning a gold medal and then bring out your issues to the community?
And thinking about the Indian boycott of this London Olympics 2012, they are boycotting for the purpose of sponsorship of Dow Company for the Olympics in London because of Bhopal explosion in India created by this Dow Company. But India itself is having Dow companies in their nation, and they are boycotting these Olympics due to having Dow companies in London. Is it fair?
If it was going to do some good, then we could sacrifice. But as time went on, as we realized what little impact it had, I become angry for what they boycott did to all these people, my friends and teammates and people in all those countries too. These are not my words. Again, the words of Beardsley Craig. So, can't you understand this statement, and can't you think that there's no use of boycotting Olympic Games?
I don't think human rights issue plays much of a matter into who hosts the Olympic Games at all. Many years ago, when the Games were truly about sport, then yes, it would matter. But these days, Olympics are merely an economically driven event, and the sole purpose is profit. We just saw the conclusion of rapid fire. It was clear that certain debaters used strategy extremely intelligently. It was also clear that both the proposition and the opposition have worked hard on their aggression as well as substance. Their performance has improved. We're ready to move into the last and final round. This will be the summary.
In conclusion, I would like to emphasize on the fact that boycotting Olympic Games due to human rights concerns is not justifiable. After all, the Olympic game is indeed a privilege extended by the International Board for the benefit of the youth of the world at various times every 4 years. It's a very rare occurrence. Athletes from every nook and corner of the world is given an opportunity to participate. There is an exchange of view, knowledge, customs, traditions, etc. The Olympic is a venue to display nation and the best of a country in a specific event. The Olympics boycott over human rights concerns is not justifiable because the Olympics are not political in nature and should not be used in that way. Countries should not boycott the Olympics due to human rights concerns because it is not an appropriate venue to approach such serious topics. The Olympics are by design an athletic event to bring nations together, not to divide nations. I don't think countries should boycott Olympic Games by keeping their athletes from competing. Let them find other ways to express this outrage. I'm certain that all of you present here by now would be convinced that boycotting Olympic Games due to human rights concerns is not proper. My opposite team members were arguing just with Syria. Only one single example. Let us give an opportunity to the youth of today who are going to be the leaders of the future generation, and also let them to bring glory and fame to themselves as well as to their respective countries.
First they ignore, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Mahatma Gandhi. This is what he believed as a non-violent protest. And the negative here sees the non-violent protest being an outrage. There's irony in there. I hope so. Number two, most of the negatives here was talking about it is unity, it is peace, and these things we should not use Olympic as a political tool. And on the speech of the last one before last, the person said, the negative said, Olympic is an economically driven place, and because of this we should not use Olympic. No need to tell anything. I think the viewers should know what's wrong with the statement Olympic being unity and peace. On the other side, Olympic using as an economically driven place. Number three, is boycotting Olympic better than giving a financial embarkment? The opposition rather said, okay, let's go to the UNESCO. Keeping in mind UNESCO deals with the scientific studies on the world. It is the UN we should go for. So going to the UN, let's bring the solution. UN has failed. That's why we are here to bring up Olympic. And we are not saying we should boycott. We are just saying by boycotting Olympic, it is justifiable for the person who's boycotting it and for the person who is being helped by that. Thank you very much.
For DSN Anayaka College, Colombo, as well as Ramanathan Hindu Ladies College received their last and final chance to prove their points. We're ready to move into a very short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We've given the time for the judges to calculate their decision, and they've finally made their choice. But before we announce it, we would like to hear the thoughts and the comments that the judges have to give us. Dr. Asanta Tanayaka, what are your thoughts?
I could see that you all have gone to the internet and read the articles, because as you did your homework, I also did my homework. The point is, it seems to me that you have not gone beyond what you have read. That you need to, based on the facts that are present everywhere. If you go to the internet, you will find the whole plethora of information. But your interpretation after reading them should also come in here, especially when you debate. So that's what we call thinking beyond. So you need to read and see and think beyond what you see and what you read. That is one point that I want to make. The other point is that when you argue and when you counter-argue, you need to be very composed, in the sense that the control is very important. And one very good thing I saw from the DSN Anayaka College side was that they were addressing the other party with full respect, saying madam, which is really beautiful, I would say, at a time like, at a place like this when you are debating.